अस्सलाम वालेकुम, ठीक बैठे हैं। जी तिलावत तारिक मलिक।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق. اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى. إن إلى ربك الرجعى. Translation: I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. Convey thou in the name of thy Lord who created man from a clot of blood. Convey, and thy Lord is most generous, who taught man by the pen, taught man what he knew not. Nay, man does indeed transgress, because he thinks himself to be independent. Surely unto thy Lord is a return.
Jazakallah. जी यूनुस साहब जी.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Respected and beloved Huzoor, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Huzoor, according to your wishes and instructions, our Talim department, my apologies, our Talim department, Huzoor, has looked at the desires of Khalifatul Masih, and over the years, the four things that you have repeated over and over. One is for us to compile the data of college and school going students, and second was to identify those barriers for our students for higher education. And then Huzoor has asked us to maintain minimum 12th grade education and then strive for our students to get Nobel Prizes. Huzoor, I would briefly and humbly suggest and present to you some of that data. In our database, which started from scratch 2 years ago, Huzoor, we started from zero, and now we have 2,207 students from 69 Jamaats all across the United States. Out of those, the breakdown shows 1,233 females and 908 male students. And Huzoor, in terms of their highest level of education, this graph shares that snapshot of how many of them are bachelor's versus master's versus PhD students, and it breaks it down between male and female students. The doctoral fields, Huzoor, this table lays that out, that we have PhD students in sciences and humanities, and then MDs in law and oral surgeons and dentistry students, with those numbers up on the slides. Then Huzoor, we also looked at the breakdown of which different bachelors our students are pursuing, and it seems like majority of our students are pursuing biological sciences, which will enable them on a path of medical field in the future. Next after that, Huzoor, is humanities and then business and finance. And then we have about 28 students going into engineering. Moving forward, Huzoor, this slide shows us what are those broader university students, what fields of studies are they pursuing. And once again, we see that 39 of our students are going into business administration and marketing, about 80 students are going into life sciences, about 20 of them in accounting and education, so on and so forth. Huzoor, we also, based on Hazrat Saab's sermons and irshadat at different times, we also wanted to see language proficiency of our students, that how can they serve the Jamaat better. And we found that out of 2,200 students approximately in our database, around 1,500 were proficient and fluent in Urdu. About 260 students in Spanish, 64 students were fluent in French, 14 in Chinese, and 14 in Yoruba.
Yoruba?
The Nigerian language, Huzoor. And we also wanted to humbly introduce Huzoor to the student body that is present in front of Huzoor today. In the front row, Huzoor, we have our PhD candidates sitting, and the 5 of them are there. And then we have about 16 students who are pursuing a master's degree, and they are in the next row, Huzoor. Then we have medical, dental, law students, and there are about 14 of them, including pre-law. We have engineering students, and then many of the other majors, and our PhD. And all these students, alhamdulillah, Huzoor, they're ready to answer questions, or if you so desire to need to know more. Huzoor, again, you have asked in previous meetings about barriers that our students are facing. So once again, based on Huzoor's irshadat, one thing we have humbly identified is that the knowledge of our parents, many of our parents were first-generation immigrants. They did not know the educational system in the United States and what it offers and what are the benefits built into the system. Huzoor, we have also identified the barriers faced by our students, which are of tarbiyat and talim issues. Many of them, they are tarbiyati issues that overflow into their talim, because if they are focused on just making wealth or becoming the sports star, then our job is to make sure that we make them recognize the value of education. And many of the students, Huzoor, simply were not aware of the scholarships or the opportunities or mentoring which is available. Then there are significant financial challenges. An average student who is going to professional school, when we talk to them, it appears that they have 100 to 200,000 debt by the time they end their education. And we are trying to focus on those barriers, Huzoor. One simple way which we wanted to share with Khalifatul Masih today, how we are doing that, is this In the Know. This is a newsletter, Huzoor, that goes to approximately 4,000 students and parents all around the United States every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, we send out an edition which gives them one-on-one advice, which shows them mentoring videos of other Ahmadi students, which shows them what scholarships are available through the government at large and what scholarships are available through Jamaat. We connect our students with different Ahmadis who can offer them internships. And in the same vein, Huzoor, this year, for the first time, we are holding an education booth at Jalsa Salana, so our students can come and get some one-on-one advice. In the end, just for your prayers, Huzoor, I wanted to put the pictures of all those brothers and local Talim secretaries and presidents. Please remember them in your prayers. It's all their work, and may Allah Ta'ala guide us to follow in the path of Khalifatul Masih.
What is going to give any presentation?
Huzoor, if you so like, the PhD students have that ready.
I cannot follow your figures. There you say doctoral feet, PhD, science, male 3.
Ji Huzoor, that's trying to break down what are they doing with their PhD, if they're doing in medicine versus in arts fields and other fields.
Achha.
We're just trying to figure that out, what kind of PhD they're pursuing.
All right, but there it is there 4 students, PhD program students present today. Achha.
These are the students, Huzoor, which are present today.
Students present today are 4 out of 3.
No, Huzoor, that is, there are, the both 2 top columns, if you add both of them are PhDs.
अच्छा अच्छा humanitarian
जी।
humanities and science.
जी।
अच्छा, who is going to present his paper?
Atar Malik Saab, if you want to present.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Huzoor.
Where is your paper?
We were asked to just prepare a few words describing our research.
अच्छा, what are you doing?
Huzoor, I'm pursuing my MD and PhD at Harvard Medical School, and
MD?
I'm pursuing my medical degree as well as my PhD at Harvard Medical School, and I'm doing my PhD in molecular neuroscience.
So you want to present something
Ji, Huzoor, I can tell you a little bit more about my research.
without any figures and facts and graphs?
Ji, Huzoor, we were asked just to prepare brief comments about our research.
Acha, then how will I follow that?
Ji?
How will I follow that then?
I'll try to explain it as clearly as I can,
Chalo.
Huzoor. Jazakallah.
Please, I can listen to your lecture.
Ji, Huzoor.
It's all right. Go ahead.
Jazakallah. Huzoor, my research is in molecular neuroscience. My research is in molecular neuroscience. And the goal of my program of pursuing the medical degree as well as the PhD is so that at the end of the day, I'll be able to practice medicine, but also do the research that will enable us to better understand human diseases, how they occur, and how they can be treated. As I mentioned, my specific area is in neuroscience, and my interest is to understand how the genes in the human body give rise to the nervous system, how they help the nervous system and the brain develop, and how perturbations in those genes can lead to different diseases.
Acha.
And specifically, Huzoor, my research interest is in a set of molecules in the brain
So
that are...
in your research, you will increase the immune system?
Gene,
Yeah,
Huzoor,
it's not-
my research is specifically on the genes that are expressed in the brain and how they help
How
the
they
brain
react.
function.
Huh?
G?
How they function?
G, exactly, exactly. The remarkable thing, Huzoor, that I can say about this is that Allah has given all of us human beings about 20,000 genes. And those are the same genes that are expressed in our brain or our skin or our lungs. But the way that those genes are expressed is what allows a cell to become a brain cell or a liver cell or a skin cell. My specific research is on the molecules that turn genes on or off. Those molecules are called transcription factors, and I'm trying to understand how transcription factors in the brain turn genes on in a way so that the brain can function.
Acha, that's all.
Ji,
Chalo. Okay. और कौन है?
Jazakallah.
Next, कौन है? Doctor Sahab, he's also doctor. You're, although you want to say something about your research, but you are not very well prepared.
Assalamu alaikum, Huzoor. My name is Tahir Ahmed from the Boston Jamaat, and I'm also pursuing an MD PhD dual degree program at Harvard Medical School and at the University of Cambridge in the UK, and I'm sponsored by the National Institute of Health on a scholarship. And my research is actually looking at neural stem cell activation following stroke or cerebrovascular ischemia after injury. And what I was trying to look at in my PhD was what are the modulating factors that cause neural stem cells to migrate to the area that has suffered a stroke, and what are the survival factors that cause poor survival of neural stem cells after a
Strokes or because of accidents when the patient goes to coma.
No, it's because of stroke, Zura. So my research is specifically looking at stroke when blood is occluded to a certain portion of the brain. And Allah Ta'ala has made a system in the brain, naturally in humans, that neural stem cells in the center of your brain actually migrate from the center to the area that you have the stroke. However, this is a very a weak process where many of these neural stem cells do not survive long term. So my PhD research was actually looking at how do we increase the survival of these neural stem cells so that they can become new neurons and recover the function lost by a stroke. So for example, in a stroke, you might lose function of your arm or of speech. We want to recover that by increasing migration and survival of neural stem cells, Huzoor.
Through medicine or some other procedure?
So the first step is actually understanding the survival factors which cause either the survival or death of these neural stem cells, because this is not an understood process. And then
the stem cells, you will inject the stem cells there at that point?
No, Huzoor, this is endogenous neural stem cells. So in all portions of your body, there are stem cells, including your brain. So we were looking at endogenous neural stem cells that are already in your brain, and they migrate by themselves. So this is better than...
To activate them.
We want to activate them and also increase their survival so that they can differentiate into mature neurons. Mature neurons are the ones that actually cause memory. They allow you to cause movement in your arms and legs. So this is what we wanted to increase so that we could help patients who have suffered a stroke actually survive better and recover function. And that is one of the reasons I'm also preparing my MD PhD program. And the reason is that I would also like to take this research into the clinical field and actually treat patients once we take it from the lab into the hospital.
Okay. So how far you have reached?
And so I've completed my PhD research in the lab, and I'm actually writing up my thesis and will be defending, inshallah, this summer.
What are the results of your research?
In terms of my results?
Are they promising?
Ji, Huzoor, and inshallah, I'm hoping to publish them this summer as well. What we found is one particular protein which is expressed after stroke is actually upregulated and causes migration of